All right, so we're diving into manifesting.
Okay, more specifically, how to keep those abundant vibes, flowing when life takes a turn, throws a curveball, all that.
Yeah.
We're looking at an episode of the Vibes of Prosperity podcast, see what they have to say.
Okay.
Gotta admit, I'm coming at this with, a healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah.
Can you really just, think your way to a better life?
Did a question for the ages,
Yep.
right? I mean, this whole idea of mind over matter.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating where psychology meets, I don't know what you want to call it, personal belief.
Totally, yeah.
And how those two things kind of intertwine.
Yeah, but we're not going to get lost in the metaphysical weeds today.
Right.
We're going full Mythbusters on their advice.
Okay.
So first up on Vibes of Prosperity, shifting your focus even when things are tough.
Okay.
And their magic bullet, gratitude. What do you think?
Well, here's where things get really interesting, right?
Okay.
Because the science behind gratitude is actually really fascinating.
Okay.
It's more than just a feeling, like, oh, that's nice.
Right.
Studies using fMRI have actually shown, very literally, that practicing gratitude, like keeping a gratitude journal consistently,
Okay.
it lights up the medial prefrontal cortex.
Whoa.
This is the area of the brain associated with, reward and value processing.
So you're training your brain to,
Yes.
focus on the positive,
It's
and
what?
then that has actual neurological benefits.
Exactly. And one study from UCLA
Wow.
found that people who regularly practice gratitude, they had increased activity in the hypothalamus.
Okay.
That's the part of your brain that regulates stress hormones.
So it's not even just about, attracting the good stuff. It's also reducing the impact of
Yes.
the bad stuff.
Of stress.
Yes. Yeah.
Stress on your mind and body. Let's be real. When you're feeling good,
Right.
you're more likely to see those opportunities.
You're more likely to, be open to them, notice them.
Exactly.
It's you find what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for things to be stressed about, you'll find them.
Absolutely.
But if you're trying to look for things to be grateful for,
Yeah.
even if they're small,
Right.
it just changes everything.
It shifts your perspective.
Yeah.
And that shift, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you're feeling stuck.
Yeah.
But instead of focusing on all the negatives,
Yeah.
you take a second, you appreciate the good things.
Mhm.
Health, loved ones, I don't know, a pretty sunset, whatever.
Right.
That can create such a sense of abundance, even when things are hard.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how this ties into the whole manifesting thing.
Yes.
It's not just, I want $1 million to appear. It's
Right.
cultivating this mindset of being open
Yeah.
to receiving good things.
Yes. It's like tuning your radio to a different frequency,
Okay.
one that's aligned with all that good stuff.
So it's not just woo-woo, there's actual science to back this up.
Well, that's what we're exploring.
Okay, right. Right.
My mind is a little blown right now, but okay, what about this whole intentions and affirmations thing?
That's where I usually tap out.
Yeah, I hear you.
It feels a little too much like if I write it down enough times, it'll magically happen.
Right, it definitely gets oversimplified.
Yeah.
But let's unpack it.
Okay.
So when we say intentions, think about it less like magic,
Okay.
more like strategic goal setting.
Okay.
There's something you want.
Yeah.
You set an intention
Mm-hmm.
that guides your actions.
All right.
And actually, there's a ton of research, especially in sports psychology.
Really?
Yeah, athletes who really vividly imagine themselves succeeding.
They're more likely to hit their goal.
Wait, so just by picturing yourself winning the race, you're more likely to win?
How? So wild. It's like mental training wheels for success or something.
It really is like building those pathways in your brain,
Yeah.
even without physically, doing it.
Yeah.
Studies with EEGs have shown that
Oh.
when you imagine yourself doing something, super vividly,
Okay.
it activates similar brain regions as actually doing it,
No way.
especially the motor cortex,
Okay.
which is responsible for movement and planning movement.
So if I just picture myself totally nailing this presentation,
Right.
that's not going to be enough, right? I
Right.
still have to actually make the slides
You have to actually do it,
and practice. Yeah.
but it enhances it.
Okay.
It's not about replacing the action.
Gotcha.
And to be fair, the Vibes of Prosperity people, they did say action is key.
Yeah, they were big on taking small steps.
Yes, small steps, that was huge for them.
Yeah, which I feel like that's such an important point
It is.
because it can be so overwhelming.
Oh, absolutely.
Did they give any examples, specifically what?
Yeah, they gave the example of wanting to write a book.
Okay.
Instead of being overwhelmed by the whole manuscript.
Okay.
Just write one sentence a day.
Oh, I like that.
Or even just like write down ideas when you get them.
Yeah.
Just making it a habit.
It's like you're tricking your brain into thinking,
Yeah,
oh, this big scary thing isn't so scary.
exactly.
Yeah.
Breaks down those barriers.
Yeah. I like that.
And then each win, no matter how small,
Yeah.
fuels you to keep going.
So it's like momentum, right?
Is momentum.
I like it.
Speaking of surrounding yourself with the right energy, that's the next thing they talked about.
Okay.
They were very big on the positive community,
Yeah.
uplifting content, all of that.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
You know, it's funny
Yeah.
because it makes sense intuitively, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
life's too short to be bummed out all the time.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to be like,
Right. You don't want to be inauthentic.
yeah, like toxic positivity almost. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Like the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Right? Because social contagion, that's a real thing.
Okay.
We are influenced, for better or worse,
By who we surround ourselves with.
on the people around us. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That's it, 100%.
Yeah.
But it goes deeper than that.
Okay.
We have to be aware of echo chambers.
Echo chamber.
Yeah, have you heard that term?
I have. But usually when we're talking about like politics.
It's the same principle.
Okay.
It's just, in this case, it's positivity.
Okay. So explain that.
So it's easy to get sucked into these online spaces
Okay.
where everyone's posting about their perfect lives.
Right. And their gratitude.
Their gratitude practices, their wins.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's bad,
Right.
but it could really warp your sense of reality.
So you're saying even if it's positive, if it's not balanced with like some realism,
Yes.
it can actually be harmful almost.
Because life, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
There are going to be challenges,
For sure.
setbacks, moments of doubt,
Yeah, and that's okay.
and that's okay. In fact, it's those challenging moments that usually lead to the most growth.
Totally. You don't know the highs without the lows.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we
All right.
find that balance?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
One thing is, be mindful of what you're consuming.
Okay.
Are you following like a diverse group of voices?
Okay.
Or are you stuck in a bubble where everyone looks and thinks the same way?
So it's like being intentional about who you follow on social media, the
Yeah.
podcasts you listen to, even the books you read.
All of it.
It's like you don't want to compare your beginning to somebody else's, middle.
Right. We're all on our own path.
Exactly. Yeah. And those paths are going to look different for everybody.
Exactly. And that's more than okay.
More than okay.
It's about like embracing the mess.
Yeah.
The imperfect reality.
Totally.
But within that, we can still choose to focus on the good, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Cultivating that gratitude
Right.
and taking action
Yes.
towards what we want.
Yeah. Okay. So action. That was the other thing that Vibes of Prosperity was really big on.
Yes, they were all about it.
It's not enough to just think it. You gotta
do it.
do it.
Right.
Like, as much as I would love to manifest a clean kitchen,
Right.
by thinking about it, it's not gonna happen.
It's not going to happen.
I'm gonna have to put in a little work.
Right. They actually had good advice about how to make that less intimidating.
Okay.
Remember their whole breaking it down thing?
Oh, yeah, the little steps?
Yeah, like the writing one sentence a day.
Yeah.
They also talked about celebrating the small wins
Oh, that's huge.
because like each step is a victory, no matter how small.
Right.
It proves you're moving forward.
Yeah, I need to get better at that. Like
Yeah.
celebrating the small wins.
It's so easy to get caught up in the end goal
Yes.
that we forget to like enjoy the process,
Exactly.
but the journey's just as important as the destination.
So true.
It's all about what we learn along the way.
Man, this has been really eye-opening, I gotta say.
I
I
know.
came in like full skeptic.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm walking away with like a whole new understanding of
Yeah.
what manifesting even is.
Yeah, what do you think? What's your takeaway?
It's not just about like wishing for stuff.
Right.
It's about cultivating like this mindset
Yeah.
of being open to receiving and then actually taking action to get there.
Putting in the work.
Yes.
Aligning your thoughts and your actions. It's
Yeah.
powerful stuff.
Powerful stuff. All right, so to wrap things up, I have a little challenge for our listeners.
Ooh, I like a challenge.
Think back on what we talked about today.
Okay.
Gratitude, intentions,
Yeah.
visualization,
Visualizing.
surrounding yourself with positivity,
Yes.
and then actually taking action.
It's all connected.
What's one small step
Okay.
inspired by any of this that you can take today
I love it.
to work towards a goal that you have?
Yeah, what's one little thing you can do today?
Doesn't have to be huge, just a tiny step in the right direction. Write it down, put it on your to-do list,
Yes.
and then actually do it.
Do it.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be surprised by what you manifest.
It's all possible.
That's it for this deep dive.
I'll catch you next time for another, hopefully, really interesting exploration
Sounds good.
of something you might not have thought you'd learn something from.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, keep those vibes high.
And those actions even higher?